Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll call the meeting of the Common Council of January 20th to order. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Councillor Olson.
Here.
Fennessy.
Here.
Bender.
Here.
Sweeney.
Here.
McDonald. Mazzolia.
Here.
Finsland. Herrick.
Here.
Dennis Dahlbeck.
Here.
Esther Dahlbeck.
Here.
Nowicki.
Here.
And Kadat.
Call for consideration of the minutes of the January 6th council meeting. For a motion and multiple seconds to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried and so approved.
Item 6 is a consent agenda.
For the motion and second for the approval of the consent agenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Item 7.1, Finance Director Vito is submitting the 2015 liability insurance budget.
What is the pleasure? For the motion and second discussion. All in favor signify by Councillor.
Yeah, just one question. Gene, do you know if our police, citizens police, are they covered by any liability insurance?
Which positions are you referring to?
I'm referring to the auxiliary police
Oh.
things.
That's a really good question. I'm inclined to say yes, they're covered under our public entity liability policy, but I can double check.
Okay,
just
yeah,
to make sure.
there was some concern. So
Okay.
somebody had told one of them that they didn't have no coverage while they were performing their duty. So,
Okay, I'll do some checking on that.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Morgan, on behalf of Town Square Media, is requesting to host Insane Inflatables 5K at the Bong Airport on Saturday, May 30th.
For the motion and second. All in favor? I'm sorry.
Mayor, a representative of Town Square is here to just introduce
Oh.
the council to the idea of this event,
Perfect.
just so they understand what it is. But thank you for the motion to approve.
Thank you for having me. I'm David Drew with Town Square Media, with the radio stations B105, Mix 108, Cool 101.7, and ESPN Radio. Just as more informational, and thanks again for the approval, something we're very excited to bring to the community, which we hope to do on a regular basis. It's the Insane Inflatable 5K. I'm sure everyone's aware of a 5K race, 3.1 miles, but this one is a little bit different. It's a, let me, if I can maximize that. I can't seem to get it. There we go. There we go. The date we have is May 30th, 2015. And what it is it's a 5K, and as you can see from the picture, it's a 5K that not only has a course, but a course of inflatable obstacles that people can climb on, slide down, run on. And the main goal of the event is just to have fun. And, of course, there's sponsors involved and community involved and things of that nature. But our goal is to get as many people involved from this community as possible for a fun afternoon for people of all ages, to get some exercise, to have some fun, and just get together. The participant profile generally is adults 25 to 50 on average, the sweet spot being the 32-year-old, but it's open to all ages. And again, the course is unlike any other that we've seen before, made up of the 12 to 15 inflatable obstacles. The best part, the best way I can describe it is if people have done the Mudman or things like that, where you're crawling on the ground and things. It's not quite that. We're not out to make anyone feel like they're trying out for anything. It's more just for fun and to bounce around and slide around. It's going to take place at the Richard Bong Airport. And if I get to the map, you can see the map of the area there. We will have shuttle services. The red circle marks where the event will take place at the airport. We will have parking. right across from Tower, and then people can walk as well. It's just a couple of blocks, like when you go to the head of the Lakes Fair. But we'll have shuttles there as well, and then there'll be a post get together afterward on those same grounds in the red circled area there. And then afterward, I know a lot of businesses in Superior are already opening their doors for ideas to get people to come to their businesses afterward for post celebrations and things like that. Again, there's the parking shuttle information. The manpower will be station personnel from our radio station as well as nonprofit organizations from this community who will benefit as well. We're covering all the insurance costs as well for the city. And we already have title sponsors with Northland Chevrolet in Superior, Dave Evans Transport, and the St. Croix Casino in Wisconsin. So it's just more of an informational thing right now for you. If you hear about it, we just now started to do some heavier promotion on the air, but before we even did that, just in social media alone, Facebook shares and things of that nature, we've already approached or crossed over the 400 participant mark in registration, and we haven't even really ramped up our promotion yet. So we're expecting this to be a very, very big and fun event for Superior, and thank you for letting us bring it to you. And we hope it to be one of many. So,
Mayor, I'm wondering if our student counselors have heard of this event at the high school? Haven't. Okay. Well, the rumor is it's that classes and different sport teams are interested in competing against each other. And I welcome you to Superior, and I'm hoping that this can become our spring signature event.
Us as well, and thank you for having
David.
us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's nice to know that everybody in this room is at the 32 sweet spot. Thank you. All in favor? I'm sorry, Counselor?
Mayor, is there any cost to the city of Superior for this event?
No, there isn't.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Item 7.3, Planning and Port Director Cirque is proposing an agreement between the City of Superior, Douglas County, and Jim Caesar of JCC Services for the management of the Superior Business Center in the amount of $2,083.33 per month, term expiring December 31st, 2015.
Heard a motion, a second. Discussion. All in favor signify. I'm sorry, Counselor Sweeney.
I'd just like to make perfectly clear, at least to me, what is the direct link of, who's the responsible one in the city going to watch over this? I just wanted that for the record, Jason. Thank you.
Counselor Olson.
We're the Jason again, or whoever. We enter into this agreement. What are we getting out of this? Are there going to be hours that this position will be posted down at the business center, or what,
Yeah.
For the tenants in the building, or for the community at whole, at large?
Jim will have an office down there. He has a cube, and he may be able to answer that a little bit better too. But he also has an office in the Badger building. But he will. And Jim, are you going to have some office hours down there, or is it going to be kind of?
We have a receptionist there, and I spend some time there every day. So.
Okay. There is a receptionist there that is paid by an office company that's down there, and then Jim is down there every day. So, and then on call on weekends as well, Dan. So,
Good. Thank you.
Counselor Sweeney.
I do have one more. And when I read that, I didn't see any reporting mechanism to you or to the city in terms of a quarterly or a semi-annual report.
that is certainly something we can add. We do have a budget and annual budget report, but if you would like us to add a semi-annual report, I think that's something that's very prudent.
I would like to. I don't know if everyone else would, but I would like to.
Okay. Okay. We can certainly do that.
Counselor Herr.
Yeah, Jason, are we getting any support from Douglas County on this?
Oh yeah.
All right.
And we're kind of still working through some of that. They did approve it at their meeting on Thursday, the contract, and we will be splitting. We'll be splitting the costs of not only of Jim, but also of all the repairs and things, and hopefully not too many repairs, but some repairs that will probably have to happen here in the near future.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, on that point, if we're going to manipulate the document, add a provision to address a reporting obligation on behalf of the management company or whatever, it's almost certain that the document will have to go back to the county for its approval, because it won't be the same document that's already been approved.
Yeah.
If they choose to start that over by funneling it through the land committee first, as was the case with this document that you have before you now, I couldn't say.
Yeah.
I bring it up
Good
only
point.
because it represents a potential significant delay in time before we're active with the contract.
Yeah. And I can certainly talk that over with Andy if that's what we would like to do. But Frog is right.
Well, the county board meets once a month, not twice a month like we do. If there's a snag in timing such that it can't be on the very next February meeting because the land committee can't address it in that sequence or whatever, I guess I don't quite know enough about how they do business to make any assurances one way or the other. We are without a contract now and have been since the first of the year. Might be another month or 6 weeks if we tweak the contract and then invite the county to consider it with the modification.
And I know the county doesn't meet in February. The other suggestion that I have that we could do is I could require it as part of our other contract with Jim to provide me with a semi-annual report on the SBC. Just, we do meet weekly, Jim and I do, if that's something you're comfortable with, and we can bring that back to the council at the end of July, or at the end of June and beginning of July, if that's something you're comfortable with. Yeah.
Well,
or council.
I'm comfortable with anything that we get it done and get it done expediently, as long as it's in there. If it has to be an addendum later on or whatever, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Councilor Dahlbeck?
I just want to say, could we approve this with the addendum that we change it so we do get a financial statement in every 6 months? That way it doesn't have to come back here?
That's, I mean, I'm good with that. I guess I'd like to ink the contract, and then if it is kind of difficult to kind of predict what the county would like to do on their end because we will be changing the document. So, Frog, what do you think about that? I guess I'm looking towards you.
Well, if you give us direction on how you want to amend it, and we put that provision in here, and you trust us to follow through with that, I think we can act on that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking it'll save us time.
Yeah, exactly.
It was never this body's time frame that I'm
Right.
concerned about. We meet
Right.
we meet twice as often as the county, and I had actually forgotten that the county does not meet in February. So, I'm just putting you on notice. I don't mean to be an alarmist that the final product is not likely to receive approval by our neighbors and partners until March. That's all.
My one thought was, could we just make this an informal reporting?
Sure.
And leave the motion as it is?
I mean, I'm at the pleasure of the council. I'm more than happy to request it as part of his regular contract to have that as something where we talk about it in July and we talk about it in December or beginning of January.
And that would require nothing as far as changing and the wording here.
It would not do that. You'd be going on my word, and that is usually pretty good.
We'll see about that.
Is that in writing? Would you be okay with that?
No, I like
I'm with that.
I prefer it to be, if we're going to do it, let's do it the right way and do it. So it takes another 30 days. We're still going to,
Okay.
we understand he's going to be there. He's been there since January 1st, I assume.
Yep. Okay.
Any further discussion? You have the motion and second. All in favor?
I'm a little confused. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the agreement as submitted. There hasn't been an amended motion or an amendment.
My understanding is that you will be coming back with an amendment with the terms of the contract that they're requesting.
Or, yeah, we could do that. Or we could, yeah, I mean, that would be February 6th or 7th. We could come back with amendment. Or you could trust Frog and I to just say, JCC Services is going to provide a semi-annual report to be distributed to the council in July and in January. I mean, that's something we could put to. Okay. Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Do you want to make a statement?
We're moving to 8.1. I want to make a statement after Terry introduces the topic of the pay plan, wage adjustments, and longevity change before there's a motion on the floor.
Item 8.1, Mayor Hagan is recommending approval of the Carlson Detman Consulting Pay Plan, wage adjustments, and longevity change.
I understand that there's several questions by counselors, and Mr. Carlson has flown up here for purposes of discussing this tonight. So before we get any further discussion by the council, I'd like to introduce and invite Mr. Carlson forward to address the topic.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Have an opportunity to answer any questions that you might have. Let me sort of give you an overview of what I see and where I think we are, and then see what questions you may have. In December, we met with the employees. All the employees had an opportunity to come to briefing sessions where we discussed our report and answered questions they may have. And as a result of those listening sessions, there were three major concerns that they voiced to us. This is my summary of what I heard. If anybody here wants to correct me, that's great. The first of all was that they understood and I think appreciated the recommendation on the salary ranges. That doesn't mean everybody's necessarily delighted about the range they ended up in, and we've provided a recommendation and an appeal process to deal with that. But their concern that was voted to us is that if the council approved those ranges, would you stick to it and continue to fund them? And it took this form, and it's not uncommon to what I hear in communities as I'm traveling around. The majority of your employees, I believe, were covered formally by labor agreements. And while the wage schedules that we have proposed in most cases involving them are better than the wage schedules they're operating under now, the difference is under an agreement they had a contract that you couldn't violate. So the deal that they made was a deal that they were entitled to. Under the law that we're operating under now, they are subject to your goodwill and good intentions. And so, people can be skeptical, and they just wanted to make sure that I understood that their concern in this regard, and I feel obligated to tell you about that. Secondly, they understand that their health insurance program is changed fairly substantially this year, and you folks softened the blow with a substantial contribution to a health savings account. And their concern is whether you'll continue to do that in the future as well, because we can all read what's going on with health insurance and the cost of care. Third concern was that in any number of situations, even though we have materially improved the earning power potentially of a number of employees, particularly those in the lower grades, the impact by how we've recommended implementation, which is they'd go to the step that provides an increase. In many cases, people are either moving to the minimum because they're below the range, or they're fairly low in the range, and their concern is we'll be hiring new employees and they'll be making almost as much as they make. And while they appreciate the fact they have substantially greater earning power in the future than they have today, over time, that tends to aggravate people if you've been doing a job for 20 years and all of a sudden somebody is going to come in and make almost as much money as you do.
So those were three primary concerns that I've heard. The fourth one is one that I've been discussing with some of your department heads subsequently, is that you have any number of vacant positions right now you can't fill because you're not market competitive. And you've been blessed with not too much snowfall so far this year, and so that's taken some of the pressure off that. But there is concern about that, and as well as where we go in the future. It's not uncommon in my work in appearing before a council to discuss a pay plan and answer your questions that you'll want some time to think it over. You ask some questions, we answer them. Maybe you got some more questions, we need to get you some more answers. Totally appropriate. That's fine. If you are comfortable, then great. I met with the library board this afternoon, and they had questions, probably some of the same questions you have. We talked our way through everything, and the library board voted unanimously to adopt the pay plan as recommended. But you may not be ready yet. So with that in mind, I'd like to give you the opportunity to quiz me on anything that's on your mind. I suspect that employees are never shy about telling folks how they feel about things. You probably have had questions from them, and I'd be happy to answer anything that you have.
Before you do, I'd like to make a statement myself. I own this, and I'm proud to own this. And I know that the pay plan package and classification, or the longevity plan that's before you, is the best that any community in this entire state has been able to provide. Second thing is that there's been concerns about the first step. The first step is offering an increase between 5 and 23% for those folks in the first step. The other things that can be taken into account here is just recently we needed a equipment operator, plow driver. And my understanding is that we had to take a laborer and going to train that person because we're not competitive. The other thing is that the finance department has been without an accountant for a year because of non-competitiveness. And last of all, or not last, but among the other issues, the ESD, their budget is being held because of waiting for this to happen. And all of ESD, from my understanding, is not competitive with their counterparts in environmental services operations, not just here in Duluth, but across the entire state. I say I own it. It was part of what I brought forward as phase one, as this is the second phase. Phase two, this is what I consider this to be, is a little earlier than we had planned for 2017 to be fully implemented. But there's a reason for it, and the reason is we're not competitive. Most of the people that are being raised, if you will, are in the first step and lower steps to a large degree. It's a living document that can flow forward. Under the current plan, it matures at 3 years, so you could be in the third year making the same amount of money as somebody in the 20th year. That's not fair. That's not considerate of people that are longevity and have dedicated their service to the community. I know that nothing is perfect, and maybe this one isn't either. But I just need to get that out. I will own this, good or bad, indifferent, and I'm proud to own it. And I just want to leave that, and I'll turn it back over to Mr. Carlson.
Any questions that you might have?
Counselor.
I have a question. On the big sheet that had all the pay, where the steps and where people were, and it had the 100%. I'm being told that doesn't mean 100% if you're on the other side of that, of the market value. What exactly is that supposed to be representing?
We proposed pay ranges to you with a minimum, a maximum, and a midpoint, and the 100% is what you're referring to as the middle of the grade. And the intention is that the middle of that grade represents approximately the average market pay, using linear regression and trend analysis and so forth. Now, if that's the average, what does the minimum and the maximum represent? Why should we have steps below and steps above? And the answer is because when you're measuring the average market, some are paying higher, some are paying lower. So what you try to do with a pay range is try to swallow up as many of those data points as you possibly can within reason, understanding there'll always be somebody higher than the maximum. There'll always be somebody else paying lower than the minimum. So it's probably a bad week for a football analogy, but it's sort of like trying to play between the 30-yard lines instead of between the two goal lines. You're trying to minimize your variance around that market. So if I move up to the control point, the midpoint of the grade, the 100% point, and then I move beyond it, I'm just competitive with somebody else out there. That's the difference.
Why didn't you just use average then? Why did you use the 100%?
Because it is a term of usage and common to me, but probably not common
Well, it
to you.
was just a little misleading, and that, I think, caused a little issues. So average makes more.
Thank you. So
Counselor-
noted.
Councilor Olson?
I have a question. Gene read 8.1. We did not have a motion on the floor. Are we illegally discussing what the agenda item is? And if we are, I would make a motion to refer this to a meeting February 18th, have it as a committee of the whole, and ask Carlson Detman to come back if we bring questions such as Councilor McDonald's forward. And I could be wrong, but I think we're discussing an agenda item that never had a motion to start discussing.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be perfect form, but I would say it's a stretch to call it illegal. We've got a consultant, obviously.
That's probably
up
a
here
poor
from-
choice of words, Frog, but
We've got a consultant up here from Madison, and I think your mayor appropriately invited him to address the group in the spirit of being informative. Obviously, you're inclined to make a motion to refer the matter to, I can't remember what the rest of your motion was. And a motion to refer is always in order. Absolutely.
Counselor, I appreciate that, but if there was a motion, that's why I stepped in. If there was a motion to refer and seconded, discussion stops, and it's automatically referred if the vote provides such. Out of respect to the consultant and out of respect to questions that people have had in my discussions with every single, I shouldn't say every single, some counselors, it would be appropriate to have that available discussion or description of that he wanted to provide prior to a motion being on the floor. I don't think that was out of line at all. I'm sorry.
okay, I'm fine with that then. I'll just an answer. Satisfied. Thank you.
There is a motion to refer on the floor.
I would withdraw that.
Okay. Thank you. Councilor Sweeney?
After you've had the time to look at this, are you as committed to this, it is fair as it can be?
100%.
Okay. Thank you.
Very.
That's critical.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Herrick?
Yeah, just one question, just maybe on the chart, you had a chart of comparison of current and median market regression lines at best fit. Okay, showing that the current market rate versus what we're at now. With this new wage scale, does that put everything, does that even it out? Does that even out the market and current line?
I have to look.
Sure.
It heads you in the same direction, but over a slower period of time.
Okay, so currently, right now, is it
We're
equal?
going to close the gap.
Okay, it's closing the gap now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Is there any further discussion at this point? Counselor?
Make a motion to refer to February 18th, city council meeting and committee of the whole. Second.
Second. Yeah.
Motion-
Yes.
Yeah.
How would I-
Make a motion to refer this to the February 18th city council meeting, committee of the whole, with power to act.
It's a second.
I would second it.
Before we call for the vote, I would like to expedite the discussion at that meeting. I would request that all counselors that have questions or need clarification on issues, perhaps give that to us in writing so that we have the ability to discuss it fully at that council meeting by preparing for that discussion with the questions that are before you. Otherwise, I think we're going to wind up with scrambled eggs.
Mayor, I would suggest you put that in the wording for that meeting, so that everyone's reminded, please come to the questions in writing, or have sent your questions in writing.
I would very much appreciate those being delivered much before the meeting so that we have the availability to at least review them, investigate them, and research them.
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
And I would add to that, if you can give those questions to me reasonably before the meeting, I will prepare written responses so that you have them prior to the meeting as well.
Right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Item 9.1, Councilors Bender and McDonald requesting an update on Kestrel progress and consultant services agreement with Jim Caesar, JJC Business Development Consulting.
Director Cirque? Mr. Caesar?
Good evening. Jim Caesar. I'm happy to give an update on Kestrel. Just wanted to give go through a little bit of background because everybody certainly is concerned that it hasn't moved along as fast as we would like it to or originally thought. So what has happened is the city, the county, and the state were providing financing, but some issues there, particularly with the new market tax credits. And what happened was, first of all, there was 3 tranches of $30 million that were agreed upon, and the state actually came through with only one of those. And so what's critical here is that not only did not all of the financing that we put together and the tools that we used to make this deal happen, but also the timing of what did happen didn't come when we and Kestrel anticipated. So that first tranche, and I want to explain that again, that $30 million is tax credits that is sold to a company, and that generated $10 million. So it's not state money, it's federal tax credits that is sold to a company that needs those tax credits, and that generates the cash. Of that $10 million first tranche, only $7 million went to the project. $3 million of that was in fees. $2 million of those fees went back to the state. So I just want to be clear there. And then the first tranche was supposed to be done in end of February, 1st of March of 2012. That did not come until August, so that damaged their financing plan. Along with that, there was some SBIC funds through WEDC that was supposed to come at the same time as the new market tax credit funding, and that didn't come until December. So again, another delay for the company. We have been working with them to help find additional funding, and with private investors. I have been involved in this past year several meetings with Kestrel and foreign investors. Kestrel has received some financing, two tranches, I guess, to use the term, from some Chinese investors. So they're continuing to work. They are up to date. They are paying their bills. They're current with the city. They are current with the state, and they are current with their landlord. And we are continuing to work with them to secure additional financing to replace what was missing that was in the original agreement. There's approximately 36 people still working at the old post office. We're likely, at a minimum, a year and a half away before we would see flying prototypes, and I still expect the project will get done in Superior.
Say, Jim.
Yes.
What about the rumor going around that Kestrel is shopping for another location?
They're not shopping, but they have been receiving requests from other locations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the second part of the request was to just kind of give you a little bit of an update on what we have done over the year, not only from working with Jim and Jim working with us, but also kind of overall short presentation. And our focus areas, at least on this presentation, is, of course, the things that we've done well and we've mastered is manufacturing industrial. The number two is the retail commercial, which is new to me. And which is making Jim's relationship with us very valuable. He has a lot of experience in that and has a lot of connections that we're able to use to get into that realm. And plus, we're really seeing a lot of activity on that side, and of course, trying to help out some of our partners when it comes down to vacancies at the Belknap Plaza or vacancies downtown. We're really trying to work closer with a lot of retailers to look at those spaces a lot closer, and that's something that Mayor Hagan has pushed, and we've tried to catch up with. And then the third, you look at housing. Housing is always related to economic development, no matter where you're at. We struggle with some of the really old housing stock. I'm not telling you anything new, but that is something else Jim has been helping me out with and working towards, not only from a single family type of standpoint, but also from multifamily and making those connections. And of course, we have our partners that we work with on a daily, weekly basis, not only on this side of the bridge, but also on the other side of the bridge. And there's many more, but I ran out of room. So some of the manufacturing industrial things that we've kind of had over the last year and a half, and things that we've been working on. Guardian Pest Control will probably be going in the ground this year. You just saw, and Shelley did a nice article on Facetto. Monetarily, we haven't helped a lot of these folks, but we've, provided some connection for those folks and to make to get some investment. AM&I Engineering just finished up an expansion. Just met with them again. They're probably going to be doing another expansion down on the end of Connors Point. And then we've got some dock improvement projects. We don't have anything really to do with Enbridge tank expansion. We try to help them out with any type of traffic control or anything that needs some help or things of that nature. They do a lot of that stuff on their own. We're still working towards International Metallics Corporation. I know this was a long time ago when we talked about this, the Parkland site. They are still continuing to work with some customers. So we're working with them. And then there's some others that are on the forefront right now that we're working with that I can't mention, but I'm hoping that this summer we'll be having a couple of construction projects out on Winter Street Industrial Park. So that's good. We talked a little bit about the Superior Business Center management. Jen will be continuing to work on that. And we'll work through some of the issues that we have down there, which aren't too many. It's nice that Jim has worked down there before, and the folks know him. I took a tour of the place. It's really changed. It really looks nice down there, and we're going to continue to foster the growth down there and continue to work on that building. So. just a few things on, I mentioned retail commercial. Again, this is something that Mayor Hagan has really gotten us to focus on. We're trying to develop some tools, working with, how do we get folks to look at us? And it's difficult. Jim and I went to the ICE, the shopping center conference last May, and have followed up with 66 different companies just to get our face out there. And we've had a few hits. I mean, that's a win. But we're just getting to that point where we need, particularly some chain retailers and some of these smaller regional retailers, to really look at Superior and really look at, not only Superior but also the Twin Ports, and to say that, that river is not a problem, and we know it's not a problem, and we know that there's a lot of back and forth, and it is tough. But it's something that we're really working on. Belknap Plaza, I mentioned that. We really want to try to get some people into that spot. That was a really big traffic generator, and really want to try to help Al out. Downtown, we've got a couple of things brewing, which I think are going to be pretty exciting, hopefully this summer, to get some buildings filled. So we're working on that. New Super One site, again, Jim and I are always trying to push people to the brokers to get them to look at that. Not only do they have some outlots on the front, but also on the side of their building. So we're trying to really push people there. South End has a lot of open space as well. There's an old gas station, Old Thompson Rental. Grand Central Plaza. I'm hoping that we'll be able to land a couple of folks over here to get back into our TIF district to help us out there. We're really pushing. Jim has been making some contacts with Mark Lambert from Bluestone Development. If you haven't gone up there, if you have a reason to go to Duluth and you're up in the Woodland area, what a development that is, and so it's really impressive. And we've had a couple of connections with him to look at Superior for that. So again, that's connecting with other developers, and then like I talked about, national retailers. Really been pounding the pavement. Jim's assistant has been helping try to contact and set up meetings with some outdoor retailers. Can't really tell you. Some furniture stores, because we don't have a furniture store anymore. That's something we're kind of trying to target. And then, of course, we've got to always have a lot of interest on restaurants, and it's just trying to find a spot for them. And I'm hoping that this summer you'll see another couple of restaurants open downtown as well as on East 2nd Street. So again, not directly giving money or anything of that nature. Maybe providing or improving infrastructure, but just setting them and putting them in the connections with the right people. That's the value that Jim brings and has helped kind of foster some of those relationships. Housing. Very quickly, we did have a mayor's task force earlier this year. We had WIDA in town. We're trying to really focus in on what our needs are, and we know what our needs are, and we've got our 4-step plan, and we're kicking that, and we're trying to kick that out. But we're really trying to get somebody to look at doing some market rate housing around here, some market rate apartment style living that we need so desperately. We have quite a few single families going to be coming online this summer. If you haven't noticed, we do have our 18th and 8th open right now. We're probably going to have hopefully a couple of construction projects there this summer, and then Ron Gustafson's place will be coming online hopefully this spring as well. So Jim sits on the task force. Housing Development Corporation is I'm a board member. Andy Leshak is actually the chair. It's a group that was formed quite a few years ago, brought back again, and we were doing some moderate to low income housing projects with it. We're going to turn that into more of a market rate type of corporation. So we're working through trying to get a strategic plan of not only within the city, but Andy has requested for the county. So Jim's been working a little bit on that too. Also fostering relationships with National Bank of Commerce, connections at Arrowhead Builders Association, different housing developers, and again, I mentioned the WIDA connection that we have. So I did mention some of those. We had another expansion at Lighthouse this spring, hopefully opening this spring. So a lot of things going on, folks. We're very, very busy. Got a lot of good, exciting things, and hopefully some things will start popping here very soon. So I'll myself or Jim will take any type of questions. I just wanted to keep it short, let you know what we're doing, and go from there. Yep.
Thank you, Jason. Questions of Jason?
Very well done.
Thank you again. I'm sorry, Counselor?
Jason.
Yes, sir.
Costco? Is there any discussion on Costco? I know at one time we were looking at for the South Tower.
We've made some connections, and I think we talked about we're going to revisit that again. Okay. Jim, do you have a better handle on that?
Yeah, when we were at the convention, we spoke with some people from Costco or do some planning. Their indication at that time was they were not looking at this market at all. They told us they thought it was too small. Our reply was it's not too small. There's a Sam's Club and a Costco in Green Bay, which is similar. There's a Costco in Brainerd, so that didn't really hold water with us. But so we are going to continue. We are going to continue to pursue that, and we're also looking at some other regional, larger box but regional operators for Superior.
And then there's been the ongoing conversation about hotels coming to Superior. Got any update on that?
Still working. The little news in the paper has kind of slowed us down a little bit with the ZMC putting the property up for sale. I actually have a meeting with Todd on Friday, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more clarification on that.
But the guy across the street, too?
There's a little bit of that talk as well, and there's been some questions to us about that. So, yes.
All right. Thanks.
I've also met with a third one.
Yes.
I've also met with a third hotel developer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 10.1 is a resolution to submit the Elevator O Dock Wall Rehabilitation Project for Harbor Assistance Grant funding with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Heard the motion and second. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 10.2 is a resolution of the Common Council approving execution of a development agreement, grant agreement, and lease agreement in connection with Fraser Shipyards.
Heard the motion in multiple seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Item 11.1 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Department amending the traffic code disabled parking zones by adding 1907 Lackawanna.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any further business to come before this body? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.